It would be hard to think of the modern magician without at some point thinking of playing cards. Even the most adventurous and daring illusionists still make the deck of cards a mainstay to their act. Look at David Blaine. He's added to his already wildly successful career as a performer of extreme feats by designing, selling, and performing with card decks. Of course, there are countless ways to use cards to perform magic. There's mentalism, routine, sleights. They can all be successfully pulled off with a standard deck of cards. But somewhere along the way, the magic engineers figured out that altering or printing special decks could reduce the difficulty of some maneuvers or create astonishing effects that would otherwise be impossible. Thus was born the Gaff Deck. Today, we look at the Copag310 Gaff Deck and what it can do. Welcome back to our viewers. I am the Gentleman Wake, and if you are new here, welcome to the go-to place for cinematic deck reviews. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. Stay tuned for an awesome episode with a special guest, and please hang out until the end of the video for a chance to win a Copag Gaff Deck directly from me. Okay, so I admit that I usually feel confident enough to offer opinions on just about any deck when it comes to aesthetics and collectability especially. And I've handled enough cards to know what cardstock feels weird or stiff and what cards feel smooth and premium. However, I've been forthright in admitting that my cardistry is definitely closer to beginner than intermediate on the skill spectrum, and when it comes to magic, well, I'm a newborn fawn struggling to find its legs.
So it's pretty evident that I'm not up to the task when it comes to demonstrating what this deck can really do. So I'm gonna go out and find someone who can accurately show you what this deck is capable of. And I know just where to go to find that person.
So I was driving by and I couldn't help but notice your sign. You're a magician?
That's what the sign says.
Right. It's lucky that I saw you because I'm looking for somebody to demonstrate some magic tricks for me. You'd be interested in maybe doing one?
Where's my food though?
Of course. If you stay right here, I'll be right back. So I didn't know what you liked, so I kind of just got you a bunch of stuff.
Thank you. That's fine. Yeah.
What about the trick?
Where's my drink?
Mountain Dew.
Hey.
Trick first.
Okay. Mix cards. Shuffle those.
Shuffle them? Yeah.
Stand here. There's a lot of shade here, so you want to stand. Right there.
Shade?
That's great. Yeah. A lot of shade.
What
That's
do you
great.
shade?
Yeah. Go ahead. Take a card out. Show it to your friends. Oh, you don't got any friends? I'm gonna shuffle your card back in the deck.
Okay.
All right. One favor. Hold out your hand, sir.
This hand?
No, the clean one.
There's nothing wrong with this one.
Put your other hand on top of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
good. The card's gonna come right to the top.
This one?
Yeah.
That was great, man. Look, it's clear that you're skilled. I'm actually a YouTuber. I make playing cards related content. I'm looking for somebody to demonstrate some magic tricks in studio. You think that's
No.
something?
No.
You sure? Like, that's a really cool studio. I have a bunch of like expensive camera equipment and like.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Well, this went well, but before we get into the specifics and the demonstration, let's give it all a little background. Why don't we rewind? Printed by Cartamundi, owners since 2005 of the Brazilian card Copag brand, founded in 1908, the Copag310s appeared on the playing card scene sometime late last year. Introduced as an alternative to the bicycle riderbacks, the Copag310s are the latest entry to make a genuine splash into the realm of standard playing cards. Available in the typical red and blue, the decks feature two-way back designs centered around a diamond pattern and scroll work lines. The pips and placement are standard and the courts are traditionally styled and familiar. The Copag310s proudly boast being some of the first cards to use Cartamundi's touted B9 true linen finish. According to the marketing materials, it's been years in the making with input from the best magicians and cardists around the world. The 310s are a thick stock. They handle well enough, although some other decks in my collection that purportedly use B9 finish handle a bit better, perhaps due to the differing stock. The Cobra deck with its buttery smooth, soft crushed feel comes to mind. Of course, the Cobra deck is a premium deck. It's obvious to me, even with my limited grasp of cardistry and Magic, that the 310s are standard cards, meant to compete with the decks you would find for sale at, your local pharmacy. That level of ubiquity and inexpensiveness makes these kind of decks the perfect decks to spring on the unassuming spectator, and because of that, Cartamundi just recently released 3 variants of the 310s that all include some unique Magic-friendly features. The Copag310 Stripper, Svengali, and Gaff I decks. The first 2 of these are virtually self-working. All 3 decks come in standard tuck boxes you would get from purchasing the normal regular 310s, with one noticeable exception. All the tuck cases come packaged inside a sleeve that denotes the true contents within. This is a great touch as it allows for easy identification when the decks are piled up in a collection stack somewhere in your closet. But with the simple act of sliding off the sleeve, the tuck cases become completely unassuming, displaying no markings that would tip off potential spectators. Of course, there is a little detail that does give away the contents in the UPC codes, which feature different codes to denote the 3 decks. We've talked about stripper decks before on this channel when we looked at the Stoics by David Blaine. This offering from Cartamundi is no different. Available only in the blue colorway, the stripper deck includes the tapered cut of cards magicians have come to expect. The varying width from end to end of the cards allows reoriented cards to be easily stripped out of the deck, very little skill required. The second of those offerings, the Svengali deck, is available in only the red variety. Svengali decks are great for mentalism and force routines. These cards are also cut in a unique fashion, with half the deck trimmed a bit longer than the other. Additionally, one half of the deck, the shorter cards, are all 7 of hearts. The longer cards in the deck are more or less random selection of other cards in varying suits. What this facilitates is that depending on which way the cards are dribbled, because the cards fall away in pairs, the deck either appears as a shuffled deck or a uniform deck of only hard-suited 7s. This makes forcing the 7 especially easy, as the top card will always be the shorter 7 of hearts force card. Again, skill is a lesser requirement. Both decks, the Stripper and the Svengali deck, are completely self-contained, and no other cards or decks are required to perform even the most advanced tricks using the respective decks. Which brings us to the final deck offered by Cartamundi, finally, the Gaff Deck, the focus of this review, which is a little bit different. For one thing, the Gaff Deck is really meant as an add-on for your existing decks of standard red or blue Copag310s, allowing the working magician to create some great effects. In the box, you get quite a wide breadth of magic potential. 8 blank face cards, 4 red and 4 blue backed, 8 blank back cards, the King, Queen, Jack, 10, and 9, 8 and 6 of spades and the 6 of hearts, 4 completely blank cards, 5 split face cards, a corresponding pair of the 2 of clubs and ace of diamonds splits with the pips inverted between them, a king of hearts / king of diamonds, a king of spades / king of clubs, and a third double-faced king with all 4 suits. There are 2 reveals in the deck, a blue-backed joker with a jack of hearts reveal, and a king of hearts holding a queen of hearts. 7 mirror face cards, and 8 double face cards, the 4 queens and 4 aces, all with alternate value suit combinations on the back. Interestingly, there are 2 ace of diamonds rather than including an ace of clubs. 6 color change double backers, 4 red double backers, and 4 blue double backers round out the 56 card set. Alright, so from this point on, I'm going to let my special guest, magician and YouTuber Pigcake, take over the demonstration aspect.
See, the good thing about Gaff cards is that they do most of the work and make you look like you are more skillful than you actually are. So for this particular trick, if you guys are familiar with David Copperfield and his Dream of Aces, you could do a sequence like David Copperfield, however, without any of the skill, talent, or beautiful flowing hair. So for this trick in particular, you could show 4 aces, 4 normal aces, and throw just some random cards on top of each and every single subsequent ace. So the Gaff cards do most of the work for you. So you could just insert a couple of your favorite magic sleights, and guess what? You look like the life of the party. So that's one ace completely gone. This next one, you could say whatever magic word you want. Oh, kablamo, and the ace disappears completely. Ace of spades, more like ace of gone. That's right, gone completely. And guess what? Where did the aces go? I wonder where the aces went.
The wide range of included gaffs really piques the imagination and frees up the magician creatively. Both Pigcake and I agree that as far as gaff sets are concerned, the cards within this collection are a bit vanilla, but I think the deck was meant as the beginning foray into a more complex gaff card system to be printed in the future, as a series Roman numeral 1 Gaff deck appears on this deck, and one can easily imagine a Roman numeral 2 Gaff deck appearing in the future. In Pigcake's much more capable hands, the Copag310 to handle wonderfully. False steals, false shuffles, passes, and controls all disappear from plain view. We both do wonder a bit about the durability of the deck under heavy use, but I suppose that's another reason for the multiple double backers and blank cards, and of course, this is a standard and thusly fairly cheap deck. I'm gonna let Pigcake ride us out with another trick in a minute, but first, the details on where to get these and what you can do to maybe even win them. The Copag310s and the specialty versions are available from just about anywhere that sells playing cards, but we received ours from playingcarddecks.com, who graciously supplied these decks for our review and for you to win. In fact, if you do decide to buy, you should use promo code GENTLEMAN10, as it'll save you 10% off your order. Any order, that is, not just the Copag decks. But if you want a chance to win a complete set of all 3 specialty decks, Stripper, Svengali, Gaff decks, from me, here's what you need to do. 1. Like this video. 2. Be a subscriber to this channel. And 3. Head over to Pigcake's channel and comment on his video featuring myself with the words, "The gentleman sent me." And you'll be automatically entered to win. In fact, you can double your chances to win because Pigcake is also giving away some of these cards over on his channel, so don't forget to check out his great magic-based content and subscribe. Okay, one more quick magic tutorial incoming. Special thanks to Pigcake for appearing. In fact, sorry guys about having to blur out his face. The judge said I had to with the criminal investigation still pending. Anyway, once again, special thanks to Will Roya of playingcarddecks.com for supplying the decks. Don't forget to hit that notification bell in the corner to get notified every time I post a new video. Finally, a special warm and gracious thank you to Joseph DeVera for being the first Full House tier patron. Thank you so much for your support. If you are interested in becoming a patron, please check out the Patreon page. There's a link in the description below. I've been the Gentleman Wake. Thank you so much for watching. Take it away, Pigcake.
So for this particular trick, if you noticed in that very sweet looking B-roll with that hot production quality you could only get from the Gentleman Wake. Oh boy, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you guys to subscribe to his channel. So you need a couple gaff cards that happen to come in this particular set of 310s. So first of all, you're gonna need this, that's, sorry.
Hey, is that my ring?
Don't worry about it. So for this particular trick, you're gonna need this king holding a queen. Look at that, sweet autofocus. You need this king holding the queen. That comes in this deck, and that's gonna go on top of the deck, on top of your king of hearts and queen of hearts. So that's the only little bit of a setup. You could do this in the bathroom while your significant other is hoping and waiting for you never to come back. These cards go in this order on top of the deck. So you have Gaff, could you say Gaff, regular king, followed by regular queen, and that goes on top of the deck, ready to be turned over by your favorite triple lift. So for this particular trick, you need to hold a pinky break. A pinky break is a fancy magician term for a separation between those top 3 cards and the rest of the deck. So to begin this trick, you're going to turn all these 3 cards over as one. Notice the rotisserie action and that revolving triple lift, and you're going to show both the king and the queen to the spectator to be free of any sort of guile. Now at this point, you're going to need to do a double lift with the king that's currently being held in your right hand. So this king, you're going to need to do one of those fancy magician moves to turn these 2 cards over, because if you do recall the setup, this king holding the queen is in the back. So you're gonna need to do a double lift while holding this queen in the right hand. So you turn this king over, thumbing it off on the table, drawing attention to the queen of hearts in your hand. This is, of course, so you can now replace the queen in the proper position to be vanished. So this is very simply done by putting the queen over here in this position. If you notice, the positioning of the thumb is right over that upper left pip. This is in preparation for a vanish move that's going to facilitate the action of you throwing this queen supposedly into the hands of this king. You hold the queen in this position. You're going to slap the queen back on the deck using your thumb, and that's it. So when you combine that with the king being held in this hand, you get a wonderful illusion of the queen being thrown right into the hands of the king. So if you notice that hot gaff card right there. So one more time, you're going to hold the king face down in your right hand. You're going to do this action with the left hand. So in action, the move should just look like you're throwing the queen right into the hands of the awaiting king. A definite romantic reunion, if you ask me.